One of the calls I just had, one of the guys basically just stated, hey, I don't have time for this. What's the actual interest rate? And I kept saying, yeah, I'll actually get that to you. I just need a little bit more information here. And they're just like, oh, why are you provided all the information?
Sure.
How would you layer that in?
Yeah, great question. So that's the reason why you need to know the source code. So if they filled out like a rate table inquiry or an online inquiry, they expect that we have that information. So you have to do a quick switch, right? They're not a past client of New American Funding, so we don't know them yet.
Right.
Get it? This is like a stranger. If you notice in the conversation I just had with you, when I was driving it, the only thing I allowed you to say was yes, no, or some open-ended answers. That's going to give me a good idea of what's causing you the pain, right?
Right.
But notice, though, that if you're getting hit with those objections, when? Because usually it's at a time where you're giving control back of the conversation. So let's just role play, and you can be as rude as you want, right? Because a lot of them do say right away they break you up, even when you're saying your name. And they're saying, hey, you know what, before you even go into this, I don't got much time. I'm on a 2-minute break. Just tell me what's your lowest rate and what's your lowest fee, right?
Right.
So what you do is you always agree. Because the common salesman, they're going to resist it. They're going to fight back and push back. Well, you know what, Norris, I have to pull your credit. I have to look at certain things. And he's going to run into that, and that's what he's looking to reject. So if you actually agree with them and say, yeah, no problem, let me just go ahead and make sure I'm going to email it to norrisdixon@icloud.com, right? Now I got full control of you now because you're like, okay, cool, so this guy's about to send it. And then what I do is I swing it back and take back control by saying, first, before I can even release it, otherwise I'm just sending you an advertisement, before I can release it, I need to make sure it actually applies to you, Norris. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask a few basic questions to make sure that the information you're looking at is worth your time. Here, watch, check it out. The property on Myford, this is your primary home, right?
Yes.
Got it. And the intent with the property, are you trying to pay it off? What's the focus now? Are you trying to pay it off faster, or do you want to maximize monthly savings each month?
I'm just calling in for a rate.
Yeah, exactly. No worries. The reason why I'm asking that is because we're a little bit different. We're a servicer, meaning that we fund the loan. And the reason why we want to get this understanding is because we have a direct tie to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is basically what all the other lenders do. They go to the same resources. It's either going to be Fannie, Freddie, VA, or FHA. Our rank with servicing for these entities has enabled us to provide just great service as well as great pricing. Here, watch, I'll show you. Now, when you say that you're just looking for the rate reduction, may I ask, what would the use for the savings be for?
I have plenty of assets. I'm just looking to take advantage of the market.
Got it. So I'm going to show you how to take advantage of it either through monthly savings or how to shorten your term. Does that make sense? So you've been in the property, looks like you've owned it since 2010. So you have 10 years ownership. I'm sure you probably want to stick within that 30-year term. If we're able to show you a shorter term, would that be of a benefit, or are you looking to create savings for other reasons?
I'm just looking to take advantage of the market. I have investments that I'm looking to go ahead and place some of that savings into.
Perfect. Okay, so you want cash flow to create more assets or investment properties, or are you looking to maximize savings to pay this house off sooner?
Just using it for investments, placing it into other savings accounts and interest-bearing assets.
Got it. Okay, cool. So with regards to your intentions of investing to that other direction, how much cash flow do you need? An extra $1,000 per month? Are you looking for immediate cash and capital to invest?
According to the calculator I have, probably $1,000 plus would be beneficial.
Got it. Okay. And then when I put together the term, I'm going to show you the difference between writing your loan to where you're at now. It looks like you're 3 years into a 30-year fix, so you got about 27 years. As a direct servicer, I have that ability to do so. So I'll show you what that looks like compared to like a 30-year term, and if we could free up the capital so you can then invest it and create an increased source of income, I think that's the benefit there for my underwriting team. You see, our process is pretty quick. Even though the average turn time is about 90 to now 120 days, this pandemic has enabled us, at least with our ties to the entity, to still create and complete the service within 60. So fortunately, that puts us close to December. If we fund in the month of December, then you won't have a payment until February 2021. What you use with that savings or what you plan to do with that extra surge of cash flow, obviously, it's at your discretion, but those are things that the estimate that I will release to you is not going to cover. So it looks like you are married, and is your wife on the loan with you, or is it just you?
Just me.
Okay, and then what about title? Is it just you?
No, she will be on title.
Perfect. The reason why I ask is because there's a consent request that I'm going to send to you, and this allows me to disclose documents electronically, so I don't have to snail mail it to you and wait a couple of days until you get it. So I'm going to be able to do that, but it has to be through a home computer. Do you know what time she'll be available at home?
Quite honestly, I make all the financial decisions. She's a stay-at-home wife.
Okay, yeah, no worries. If she is on title, she will on some of the documentation, though. It's just a California policy that we have to in place to protect you. If there's anyone else on title, I'm sure that you'd want them to know about it. But anyway, don't worry about that. Let me take the information that I have that you've already requested, and I'm going to design a plan for you to where you'll have both options, either pay the house off even sooner than expected, or second, invest that extra cash flow to create another stream of income. How much do you think it'll be if you were able to, invest $1,000 or $20,000 or $5,000 or however much you set? How do you think it would yield you per month?
Per month, maybe an additional $300-400.
That's awesome. I'm sure that'll probably cover for maybe a credit card bill, right? How much do you have in credit card debt, like revolving debt?
Don't have too much. I have about $20,000. Usually, pay it off every other month.
Pay it off each month. Okay, getting the points. No worries. Okay, and then as far as the investment properties, you're looking for this cash by what date? Are you in escrow now on an investment property, or are you looking to get this cash by a specific date?
Preferably, I was looking for the beginning of the year, but as soon as you answered that question, you said February 1st would be the first payment due, and December would be closing date, correct?
Yes, definitely, not a problem. I want to see if I can get it done for you in December, because that's going to be when the market is ripe, and then because of the holidays, not too many people are buying. So that could position you to pick up a nice investment, which would then yield you, however, several $100s that you mentioned. Here, watch, let me show you. You see how that conversation went?
Yeah. I'm noticing I'm getting a lot of guys that are more or less like that, how that conversation went, so that's definitely good. Okay.
Yeah, those are good objections. But every single time I'm looping it in and constantly sounding like, I can help with both. Because what you're trying to do as a consumer is you're trying to find out the reason why to let me go.
Right.
And a lot of times we're focused and we're in our own feelings and thinking about, well, how am I going to stay connected with this person? And so we spit things out, right? We become thirsty. Like, hey, we do this, we do that. The tonality changes. Yeah. But if you have a way where you sound like it's easy, it's simple, then they'll gravitate towards you. But I started learning things about you right from the very beginning of the conversation, that you needed capital so that you can create another stream of income. Now I have something huge, right?
Right.
Without even going into his checking and savings, I know that you need $25,000, I think it was. And so now I'm going to focus around that while at the same time showing them, well, if you didn't need the cash or you didn't want to pull out your equity, then I go with a shorter term. But at least you have a net, right? So you're able to help them design it. But you got to connect with them on that level, dude.
Right. Okay.